So, what is your walk with God, your relationship with God? How important is that? How much does it matter or play into dating and eventually marriage?
It means everything. I mean, really, it really means everything. Everything you do, right, wrong, and different, flows from the condition of your relationship with God.
Yeah, that's good.
What has blessed me individually the most as a person, but also blessed every relationship that I have, is my growth in my relationship with God.
Yes.
It's a direct correlation. As I've grown in God, I've grown in my other relationships as well. And so that has to be the very foundation on which you build every relationship around. I mean, really, human relationship was created by God.
Yeah.
He looked at Adam and said, "It's not good." After he created everything and said it's good, he looked at Adam and said, "It's not good that man should be alone." Mm-hmm. Not that Adam wasn't good. Mm-hmm. It's that it's not good that he should be alone.
Yeah.
So he created a helpmeet for him, somebody to come alongside of him and do work together, and go forward in it. But relationship was created by God, human relationship. Mm-hmm. So taking God out of the equation, can you truly have a healthy human relationship?
Right, it's good.
Yeah.
I think kind of touch on a point there as well of perspective when it comes to why you should date, what dating really is about. Because again, we can get so caught up on all the other details, tangible things, which is good, we should. But the truth is, even though we don't have dating in the Bible, marriage itself, which is what dating eventually leads to, is a great thing. Mm-hmm. Dating is a great thing. And wanting to get married is a great thing.
Yes.
Having the perspective of, yes, there's things that we have to work through, deal with, all that fun stuff we've already mentioned in this podcast. All those things are real, they're part of it. But dating and marriage is such a beautiful thing when it's put into a walk with God.
Can I add something to that?
Absolutely.
So we believe in marriage, but we also believe in personal growth constantly. For the rest of my life, I hope I'm 88 still reading personal growth and development, because you just change constantly. What I liked when I was 20 is not the same things that I'm constantly changing. So of course I constantly need to be a study of how I need to change. The help meet part, I heard this the other day and I thought it was so neat. It's not just like a good little helper, like, you have a good little helper when your 6-year-old boy helps you carry in the groceries. That's a good helper, but that word there literally means like the angels helping God move a mission forward. It's not this cute little helper. It's this like dynamic force of help that God has aligned the man and the woman to be moving on a mission, moving in the same direction.
Man, you talk about mission. Sorry, now I'm getting fired up.
There we go.
Okay. So you talk about that mission. Well, and you brought it up with distraction, and this was something that I wanted to bring up with the distraction side of it. If y'all are not moving in the same direction or have the same mission in life, that's a hard no.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, if you know you're called to something, and that person, let's just say, knows that they're called to something else, probably doesn't align.
Yeah.
And on the surface, it can be very logical, sure, but it truly matters in a relationship.
Yeah.
Two joining together as one. I mean, Scripture talks about the multiplication factor of one putting 1,000 to flight, two putting 10,000. In a relationship, you directly multiply your potential and your effort and coming alongside in that mission moving forward. I mean, it's such a beautiful thing. Now think about how powerful two people are together through that God multiplication. Interweave God in the very foundation, in your conversation, in your mission. I mean, you're absolutely unstoppable. It gets God behind your relationship.
For sure. So before we kind of move on with that, this is not on the questions I sent you, but I have an extra question for you on dating. I want you to give us a date night.
I automatically was like, how long have we been dating?
Let's say like first 10 dates.
Oh, okay.
So early on.
Okay.
We're trying to know them. We're trying to still kind of build that connection.
Okay.
So I'm going to go first because the guy should be the one setting all of this up.
Absolutely.
Girls, red flag. If you're the one setting up dates, he's not worth dating.
No.
Good, that's good.
Because,
Cut it off.
can I say why?
Yeah.
Because, and I don't think, you don't know this when you're dating.
She's getting fired up.
That is my passion right here.
You don't know this when you're dating. I didn't know this when.
Right.
Here's the thing. You said this, Caleb, earlier. You mentioned I don't know exactly how you mentioned it, but dating is for marriage, and then you get a lot of negative opinions out there when you have marriage, and that's because usually there's two raw people that don't want to change. And that's why I'm like a big advocate on personal development, because as much as I develop, it pulls our relationship higher and higher. And I'm able to perceive myself that, oh, I'm not perfect after all. Like the ways that I expect him to meet to me is the exact same ways he's expecting in a totally different way. And so then, it's the healthier you can get, the more blessed your marriage is, and it can thrive. It can thrive.
Yes.
But you don't know that if he's not pursuing you when y'all have been dating, he won't pursue you when you're married. And that's the only thing that carries you through the years of little babies. That's the only thing, bad health. Like we've been married
almost 14 years.
Almost 14 years. We've been together 16. And so we've had a lot. We've had times where I literally thought I was going to die in a hospital, to the point I was praying my last prayer, and our first baby was 6 months old. We've had babies in the hospital wondering if they were going to, with bladder infections or like one kidney or, just some really tough, deep, hard stuff. If Tommy had not constantly been pursuing me in those moments where I didn't feel beautiful, I didn't feel like an upstanding mom, I didn't feel like I was even going to make it the next day, our marriage wouldn't be thriving today.
Right,
it was
good.
those little moments, not big, grand, like events. It was just little moments of like, man, I still love you. You're still as beautiful as the day I met you, or whatever. Like, I don't know. That's cheesy. I don't even know if you've ever actually said that. But like, it's like, I think men feel like they have to make a huge event. And I heard the other day, and it's so true. Like, we overemphasize the event and underemphasize the little details that it took to make the big event. And that's just in the pursuit of dating, marriage, whatever the case. Just the little moments is what really makes the big event grand.
Yeah.
Well, I think anywhere in life, your level of pursuit is a direct reflection of your attitude towards it.
Yeah, for sure.
God,
That's good.
work,
That's
good, yeah.
relationship, whatever it is. And so, from the very beginning, you said, he that findeth a wife findeth a good thing.
Yeah.
He that findeth.
Right.
There's a pursuit in it.
Yeah.
And, this is a little marriage snippet. Paul talks about how the men are supposed to be Christ. Mm-hmm. People are supposed to be able to look at a husband and go, wow, that's how Christ is supposed to be to the church. And the wife is supposed to look how the church is to Christ.
Yeah.
Okay? So now you have that correlation in marriage, but, we're not married. Did Christ not pursue you when you weren't in relationship with him?
Right, it's good.
There was still a pursuit. There absolutely has to be a pursuit. Wooing just goes a long way.
Yes.
Even if, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, even if it is kind of corny or cheesy, the fact that there was some effort behind it goes a lot further than even what it is. Okay. So to add, I have a specific thing in mind. So I had a cousin that when he pursued.
Yeah.
Like with everything inside.
So bold.
Like he was bold. He didn't care. And he did. He tried to woo whoever he was pursuing. Okay. And I remember being at college, and he came back from Walmart. He barely had any money. Scraped together his last pennies, and he bought this girl some roses from Walmart. Okay. Well, he shows up, gives her the roses. She's blushing, and we're like sniffing around because it stinks.
Stinks so bad, like fish.
Stank like fish. Well, come to find out, the roses smelled like fish. I don't know how in the world he bought roses.
Cheap. He bought them cheap.
He bought cheap roses, but they smelled like fish.
Like roses artificially colored from Walmart.
Yeah, just add some woo into your pursuit. But nonetheless, she was still taken aback by him. She still held on to those roses, even though they smelled like a fish market.
Yeah.
I don't. But,
I think kind of a tie into what you're talking about too. I think wooing can look different for different people too. That's very, handy. I think with my wife, and I could be wrong here, she's not here to correct me. So,
so you're right.
Yeah. So I think helped woo her, for her and who she is, was my consistency.
Yes.
Yeah.
Not necessarily all the big things I did.
110%.
I think it was consistent little things, not even romantic, even just being there, not running away, not like just being the consistent
Being
in my
a man
pursuit.
honestly goes a long way.
And I think I didn't pursue a bunch of other girls while I was pursuing her.
Yes.
I think there was And I think she saw that he's serious. He's not running away when things get crazy or
Yes.
through different life situations, whatever
Stable.
else. I think that partially wooed her in our relationship.
100%.
And so I think, yes, do the fun little things. I bought her flowers and all that stuff as well. But I think what really wooed her was, as time went on in dating, was, okay, he's not going anywhere.
Yes.
Well, in dating, you were providing a sense of security, which is one of the fundamental, deepest needs of a woman in a
Yes.
relationship, is to feel secure. And that's, guys, listen to that.
I think I'm with her on that though. With Tommy, it wasn't necessarily. I'm not. You don't know this. You don't need to know all of the love languages
Sure,
and
yeah.
like what her love language is. But you do constantly just like throwing anything and being consistent and only having eyes for her. Yeah, that's huge. Okay.
All right, so you've found the one. You want to date. You found the one. You've been dating for a while now, and you're kind of getting to that point of a crossroads. Is she the one or is he the one? And if so, how do I know it's time to get engaged? How do I know I'm ready to get engaged? Because we've been dating for whatever time you went in there, but it's been a while, and you both are, getting closer, getting deeper. Emotional boundaries have been built and grown, and that's okay. What do we do here? Are we going to go towards marriage, or are we going to go a different direction? How do you know you're ready to engage, and how do you know they're the one I need to be engaged to?
So multiple pieces. So going back to that whole peace thing, I mean, that's a huge thing.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't feel, when you think about your future together, when you think about spending the rest of your life with them, and you don't feel peace about it, okay, well, that's something to consider.
Sure.
That's something to think about. When you're basing it on a relationship with God as well, that discernment, that wisdom, and all of those things, discretion will be will protect you.
Can I throw a hard question your way
Yeah,
on this?
throw it.
How do you know it's peace versus emotions of it's a big step? Fear versus peace, where
Okay,
you
that's a
may
great
feel
question.
you may feel peace that you know it's right, but
But
you
it's
still have the
scary.
emotions
You
of
still
fear
have the fear
it's
of
a big
taking a
jump.
step.
How do you identify the difference in the two?
Okay, so what a great question. I think there's two. I go back to the will of God's not rocket science thing, but there's also that logical approach piece of it too, of asking the questions. Okay, it's not that I hate them, or it's not that there's chaos when I think of our future together, but why am I feeling scared?
Sure.
Start addressing those deeper rooted,
good.
rooted things. Okay, where is this coming from? Where is this feeling coming from? If it's coming from the type of person they are, okay, so that's when you take a step back and go, okay, then those feelings that are being incited by the kind of character they have, the lack of self-discipline, whatever it is, if those are the things inciting those fears, then those are things to heavily consider and go, okay, maybe this isn't.
Yeah.
But if the fear is, well, I don't know, or I'm just scared to step out. It's a big decision.
Yeah.
Those are all things. Those are all true things,
Yeah.
Is there anything you want
Well,
to
my first thought was I heard one time, I know this is a romantic's way of looking at things maybe, but don't look for somebody you can live with, look for somebody you can't live without. But if you're I'm all about doing things scared. If it's scary a little bit, that means you need to do it. And I know we're talking about marriage, so that's a huge deal.
You
But
scare me, let's
fear-
get married.
No, but fear and being scared are two different things.
Sure,
If you
sure, that's good.
Fear your future,
good.
you need to run. If you fear that you are never going to get over the way they kind of give you the ick, or you need to run. There's just so many, never ever settle. Never feel like this is the last, I've already gotten this far to even engagement this is the rest of your life. And if there's something that just doesn't really settle with you at all, it could be as dumb as their ears kind of stick out and that bothers you. If there's something like that where it's man, every time I look at them, it just kind of my heart gets heavy or my stomach turns or whatever, run. But if it's I'm scared because what if we don't have enough money, or what if we have 10 kids and I'm not a good parent, or what, if it's stuff that Okay, then you're gonna read a lot of books and get a lot of good, solid wisdom from pastor, really from your mentors, from your the people you trust and love. Like, if those are why you're scared, do it. Like, don't worry about it.
That's good.
And I think there's a lot of conception that like you have to have $10,000 in your account, or you have to have like XYZ. Like, there's like set things that are great. Man, I hope you do. That's really wonderful. But like, if we waited to get married before XYZ, to have kids before XYZ, like, is there ever a perfect time to do anything? Like, no. Like, no. I don't think you should step out blindly by faith, but have wisdom, have self-control, have all those things that lead you to making wise decisions. Sure. The first couple of years, we were scraping by. I'm not even going to tell you how old Tommy was. Like, he was very young.
Baby Tommy.
Baby Tommy,
it was baby Tommy. But and I know there's some people, if you get later on in life, if you get married later on in life, you're going to have more financial security. It wasn't that I was never worried though about us. Why? Because we were wise with our money and we just had to deny ourselves a lot more. And so you make it work. Like, I don't think anything like that should stifle you from making moves that are going to better your future. Again, you're a help me like power strength, not this like, well, I don't know. We fight a lot, but I just can't imagine my life not fighting. Like, no, it should be dynamic. It's just like the secure, like, yes, I do love them and I do want to spend the rest of my life with them, and then figure out like, okay, well, how are we going to make it financially? How, navigate those roads.
So you mentioned it on your last podcast. Pastor says it all the time from the pulpit that, getting married is an act of faith. Yeah. I mean, it really is in the aspect of like, if you try to figure out how your life's going to look 50 years down the road, like sometimes you just got to jump into it. Like sometimes you just got to, you do have to go after it. When those other like the
pastor and all that stuff too,
Right. Well, and that's what I was going to say. Like that's one of the first things too of like, okay, how do I know I'm ready? Mm-hmm. That's what we talked about. Right. The other aspect is how do we know we're ready to move forward? Mm-hmm. If you have your man of God's approval.
Yes.
Like
that's 100% right.
That's how we know that we can move forward.
If your pastor's pushing to get married, it might be the right thing to do.
Yeah, that is very fair too.
Also, to respect him so greatly. Like Calvary is so blessed. But I know that there would be times that he would probably have to say, Kayla, I'll just use my name. You really need to work on disciplining yourself. Yeah. And you have to be okay with that. And then we're gonna wait, and I'm gonna discipline myself in reading my Bible or praying or I don't know, getting a job, like whatever that looks like.
Sure, yeah,
like,
that's good.
He's not afraid to
get that godly counsel.
Godly counsel.
Well, you shepherding. Yeah, you definitely need it. Well, and the other part of that too that I just had in my brain and then it just left. Oh man, so I want to think about this because it was important to that piece of that godly counsel. Okay. So the other aspect of how do you know this is somebody? The other side of that too is what's a good indication that it's not? I mean, because sometimes that's sometimes the best answer too of like, okay, this is why it's not good to move forward. If he or she does not have any respect for authority in their life, that is a hard no. Like you are not.
No matter how attractive or how
you don't need to move forward at all, any further. If they have a hard time with submission, if they have a hard time with respect of any kind, respect of people around them, respect of themselves, respect of you, those are all very hard lines, and a lot of that will be weeded out as you get to know them. But there are some times as people develop, as they wax cold or whatever the case is, those can be indications of, man, like we shouldn't move forward anymore with this.
That's good. So this is probably not a right answer for the first part of this question, but I think going forward on this question, you might have some thoughts. So how long should you date for? Again, there might not be a right answer for the first part of it, but at what point in dating should you be like, okay, we've been dating for X amount of time. What are we doing? Like, where's that point at? Is there a point there, or is there a time frame there?
There's not a time frame. I think if you put a time frame around it, you're going to be wrong.
Yeah, well, we've known people that have literally met and got married in 3 months, and they have a very successful marriage.
Yeah.
But they are very dynamic people.
Yeah.
So I would not advise that to somebody
Most
that's
people.
not. Well, sure. I'm sure there was a lot of hurdles they had to jump
Yeah.
to. They were willing to. They are mountain climbers. Like they are not afraid of hard work. And it's been so fruitful. It was definitely, they were a little bit older too. Like it wasn't like they had just fresh out of high school, but I don't think that there's ever a good reason to have a very long extended time, because you're gonna start getting too emotionally attached, too physically attached. Like there's gonna be a lot of barriers that are gonna be crossed because
Sure.
because of the time.
Sure.
Yeah. Yeah, there's got to be, man, going back to the mission thing, I think that's a direct reflection too. You've got to this point, there's been some commitment, there's all of those things. But if there's no plan on moving forward in any kind of way, that is a red flag of the relationship. And sometimes, I mean, just there's a caveat to everything. The asterisk there. Sometimes that's just a hard conversation to have. Of like, hey, where are we going with this?
Yes.
Like, what are we doing? And sometimes that can spur a good conversation of like, okay, well, here's why I'm hesitant, or here's what I'm thinking, and that can spur hard conversation that's good to have.
Yeah.
Because that could get out. Well, I'm trying to save this much money, or I'm trying to figure this out.
It almost puts an action item to
puts an action item.
how to get to the end goal.
Correct. There needs to be a goal, though.
Yes, there needs
And
to be a goal.
that's what,
That's good.
even if the goal is not, we're going to get married in 3 months.
Right.
There needs to be some kind of goal of like, okay, in 3 months, what can we do to be closer to that?
Right.
Like how much money can I have saved? Do I have a better job? Do I have a car that drives? Actually, like there can be some kind of action item to that.
Yeah.
And I think on either side, male or female, if there's any hesitancy of taking any step there, there's a conversation to be had.
So what kind of conversations should be had in those moments? What should those conversations be? Any examples?
Okay. So ask some of those. What do you see when you think about our future? I mean, that's a fair question. Where do you feel like God's taking us in our future?
Okay. Can I say this too? Yeah. I think it needs to be very unemotional, because I'm a girl and I remember being like, is he ever gonna marry me? Or like, when are we getting married? And you're like daydreaming about this like beautiful romantic way of life, and it needs to be a very like mature, unemotional conversation.
Yeah.
So we're not planning our kids' names in this conversation. We're planning like practical steps to achieve a goal, not
Right.
because again, like once you start getting more intimately connected into like this idea of marriage, that's where it can fail, because you have no actual goals. You have like all your kids' names with no savings in your account, like. And then everybody's frazzled and disgruntled.
Yeah, no, that's really good. That was really good.
I'm going to ask the same two questions, but let's say at this point you've made the leap, you've gone on one knee, you're engaged. How long should you date for, if there's a time frame on there?
So you've already got engaged.
Yeah, you're engaged. Should it be a time frame? Should it not be a time frame? What is?
You better go quick.
So, okay, I think definitely that could be a conversation with your pastor
For
too.
sure.
Sure, absolutely.
But I know most, and we're here too. Long engagements are not a great idea.
Well, mentally, you're already married. And there's so much, like the battle of the mind is huge. Yeah. But mentally, you're going to feel like we're there. Like this is permanent. Even though it's not yet, you have not made the covenant before God. You have pretty much made that covenant between, like, they are the only one. So there is going to be a whole lot easier to
You made a decision.
So many.
Yes.
Made a decision.
Yes.
Well, you've already made that decision that this is,
And you're both on the same page.
Yeah.
You're it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and then you start planning the wedding together. You're informing people like, hey, we are about to tie the knot. There's a whole lot more emotion that floods into it. There's a whole lot more deeper feeling that floods into it. Boundaries are extremely important in that.
So how do you keep those boundaries strong in that season?
Man, so Proverbs,
fasting.
prayer. Die flesh. Proverbs talks about guarding your heart and protection coming from it, because out of your heart flows everything. There's an action to it, guarding your heart. I think about it a lot. The tree in the very beginning of time, the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, was planted in the midst of the garden. But that doesn't mean Eve had to hang around it long enough to hear the serpent.
Yeah.
She could have tried to, anytime she walked by it, be like a kid when you're walking down a dark hallway. You're not walking slow, just trying to figure life out.
Sure, right.
You're humming, you're singing, you're skipping, you're running through it. Okay, you avoid it. What's the best way? Scripture flee fornication, flee useful lust, resist the devil. There's an action to it. Yeah. You run away from it. You steer clear of it. You don't place yourself in a vulnerable situation to fall. In that book that I brought up about asking the question, is this wise? He makes the statement that the road to moral failure is paved with a lot of little unwise decisions. Yeah. It's not necessarily right or wrong. It's not wise.
Yeah, that's good.
It's not a wise thing to do. So don't keep the same guard. Mm-hmm. Keep the same foundation in God. Keep any kind of accountability. Mm-hmm. Keep it, because I'm telling you, you want to protect that part and bring that purity into marriage.
Yeah, for sure. I have one more question, and we'll have a few more fun questions after this.
Okay.
So, you're engaged. Now, I've heard different things from different people. I've seen some who've loved the engaged season, had a great time while being engaged. I've seen some who've been stressed out. It's been like should we even get married? It's even this stress and all this stuff all these things that are changing. How do you make the most and enjoy the season of being engaged?
Man, what a good question.
That is a good question.
I go to that. I think, man, how do you make the most of any season? Because for the rest of your life, you're going to be going through seasons. Mm-hmm. It's part of life. And so I know one of the questions that we didn't talk about, but how are you content with the season that you're in, even if you're single, but still have an open mind to dating?
Yeah.
Well, it's finding contentment, but still being unsatisfied. Right. Well, that seems so counter your brain. Oxymoron. Yeah, oxymoronic, truthfully. Okay, but being content is being okay, but it's utilizing the season that you're in. It's taking full advantage of it, knowing I am not going to stay here.
Right, it's good.
And that's what keeps you dreaming, okay? That's what keeps you not stuck in that season forever. Never curse the season that you're in. God places you in the seasons you're in for a reason, to grow, so that the next season he brings you to is even better.
Yeah.
Okay? And so how do you enjoy that season? Now, truthfully, Caleb, I'm going to be real honest with you. When you were saying that, some people are just stressed to the max. Some of that's just personality.
Sure.
I think no matter how much you tell somebody to embrace it, they're going to get stressed that they're not embracing it enough. It can. Some of that's personality. Sure. Some of that's the load of the wedding, trying to make sure everything's okay.
Because they care naturally about
everything.
Right,
they care naturally. But expanding that beyond just ensuring whatever season you're in, singleness, engagement, dating, but wherever it is, finding that contentment, that purpose in where you're at, and just trying to embrace it. Sure, you got to constantly remind yourself too of okay, maybe I'm getting a little too stressed out, and maybe I'm hating the season I'm in. I feel like you want to add something to this.
No, I lost it. Sorry.
Okay, sorry. But yeah, don't curse the season. Just try to embrace it the best you can.
This is my layman's advice or thought. This from observation is, I've seen some who are the most stressed quit dating while engaged. But they may have conversations about this stuff that's happening, but they don't just go and have a fun night,
meaningful,
or just
time.
Laugh, relaxing. Let's go do something fun night. It's every meeting is wedding or future or something like that. And so,
well, it almost becomes work at that point.
Yeah,
you're going to work, and then you're meeting and having deadlines and things you got to get. And you're really right. And truthfully, that carries directly into marriage. Mm-hmm. We see it a lot on the marriage side of things, that a lot of people stop the pursuit of the dating side. Mm-hmm. And so, man, Caleb, that's a great observation. Make sure you take the time in the engagement to still date.
Absolutely. So now a few fun questions to wrap this podcast up is, so we talked about dating and engagement and marriage. Tell us, Tommy, how you asked Sister Kayla to be your girlfriend. Or how to make him official.
Okay, Can I say something first?
Uh-oh.
Yes.
It's way more thought out than when. It's
Sounds
way.
like we got a good one, guys.
Truthfully,
It was way over the top. You don't have to do this.
so I knew I was shooting out of my league.
Yeah.
And so I had to put it on strong,
No fish flowers?
Yeah, no fish. I learned from my cousin.
Yeah.
You can learn a lot by just taking a step back and watching things. So, man, asking her to be official. So I actually created a scavenger hunt.
That's cool.
And had my fish rose cousin and one other friend, I think.
It was all my my really close friend. Like
Okay.
I know Whitney and Chelsea.
Drive her around town to these different clues that eventually led her to a park bridge where I was standing. And that's where I asked.
Like it almost was like an engagement.
Yeah.
But yeah, you don't have to go all out like that. That was a big pursuit. Truthfully, I had a lot of I took a lot of wooing for me, I think. So I think that was probably one of the.
But
I was like, man, he
went after
really
her.
thought about this.
Yeah.
Maybe he was a good guy.
Well, you sound like you said yes that moment, so you took the
thankfully
chance.
she said yes.
I broke up with him one time for like 3 hours.
Well, and I told her, I said, listen, I'm just going to be here.
Yeah.
I'm waiting for you.
And I believed him.
That's part of the pursuit, guys.
That's part of the pursuit, being steady Eddie.
Also, so you went all out for the asking my girlfriend. Now engagement.
Now,
Where'd you
engagement, I'm going
engage?
to tell you, that was kind of rushed.
He had me, so he was like, eh.
Because, no,
Hey, the first half was great. The last half, we already had the score up.
no,
on us,
I'm going to
so-
be honest with you. Truly,
Not talk.
what had happened is I didn't think I was going to get the approval of my parents and my
He was
pastor at
young,
the time.
very young.
I was young. So I didn't think I was going to get the approval. So when I got the approval, I drove down to Houston, and I was driving back. And I was like, okay, she obviously knew something was going on.
Yeah.
I just up and left and drove hours down, just randomly. And so she knew something was going on. And so I had that decision to make on the drive back. I said, I could either do it tonight and we're going to do this thing,
Yeah.
or I can drag it out. She can ask questions. I can try to figure something out.
Can I tell them this? That I had threatened to leave if we weren't
She had
going.
drawn a line.
If we
in the
weren't
sand.
going anywhere, I was like, listen, we dated 2 years.
Yeah.
And I was like, we're either
So, guys, 2 years. The other question. That is the mark. That is the mark. It's your Christian.
for me. But I'm like, let's get this thing done. And he's like,
Now, I do.
he takes 2 years to process if he's going to buy a car.
Now, listen, I do feel like there's some fairness to throw into this.
Okay, you were so young. Yeah.
The age plays a
Yeah.
factor.
But you don't know that. And I was 3 years older.
I was 19 when we got married, so you can do the math from there. So, but yeah, I mean,
With a full-time job. It was not
I
an
had
average
insurance. I
19-year-old.
could pay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was paying rent. Like it's
Not the
I
same.
supported
That's
her.
why I did
Yeah.
not say it.
You're right. But anyways, it kind of added the context. No, but I got the approval, and I drove back to Lufkin, Texas, and
Ain't going nowhere.
Listen, no, I get it. Once you get the approval, it's like,
Now-
I don't
now-
want to wait no more.
now before anyone thinks that I pulled into the Walmart parking lot, and
It was in and out. We all know.
Yeah, it's in and out. The will of God's not rocket science. No, I picked her up I already had Chick-fil-A and a blanket, and I took her back to our first date
Her
spot.
first date.
That's sweet.
And
That's sweet.
that's where I proposed to her.
That's good.
Because I think Chick-fil-A was our first date. He reenacted our very first date.
Yes.
That's really sweet. That's really good. So good job. I'm proud of you.
Didn't have the
Now that I'm like sweating. Now that
All right. So one last question, then we'll wrap it up. What is each of you take a turn? What is your favorite memory from your wedding day?
You know
leading up
what?
to it.
So I don't regret
the service.
anything of our wedding. It was, this is
Favorite.
random. It was on Lake Texoma, but it looked like a destination wedding because it was the year of major drought. Like
Yeah.
you couldn't get in the water because it had not rained so long, and there was
bacteria.
bacteria. But it was
Beautiful.
It was beautiful.
It really was.
was because Lake Texoma, if you haven't been, it has white sandy beaches,
Yeah.
and you couldn't really see the water in the pictures, and that's all you remember anyway of your wedding. So that was probably my to this day, my aunt just made all my dreams come true, and I rode in on a horse.
yeah.
It just, I don't know.
Wow.
I
It was
really
really
enjoyed.
A horse. That's impressive.
Now I did get mad, which this is no surprise if you know me very well, but it was dragging because we were waiting on his grandparents, which I did not know that. I just knew that I'd been waiting.
Got lost on the way to the wedding.
I had because it was in the middle of nowhere.
2 years already. Now today.
And if you
I'm
know
not waiting
me,
any longer.
I don't wait very well. Patience is a virtue, and I've tried very hard to implement in my life, but it doesn't come easy to me. And so I'm like sitting there with the horse and my dad, and I'm like, oh, buddy, like, what is going on? Like, so I called him.
Yeah. She's like, what are we waiting
I
on?
may or may have chewed him out. I don't remember that detail. I do regret that. If we weren't talking about the negative, but.
I mean, I laughed about it and just said we were waiting on my grandparents.
Yeah.
He doesn't care. He's like digging deeper if we.
Shut up. Well, I'm trying to think, man, favorite memory. It was actually a lot of fun.
We laughed the whole way through it.
We had a blast.
Which is not normal, because I watched my friend's wedding not long after that, and she cried all the way through hers, and I was like, oh man, oops. Like.
Yeah, we thought you were supposed to cry or whatever. We didn't. We laughed. Like, we had a good time.
We were just like,
I'm trying to think of my favorite. Yeah, I initially thought about the horse. Like, that was super cool. We had a smaller wedding, so having it with just the very, like,
people that
intimate
really
family,
wanted to come.
like the ones that really mattered were going to be there. That was a really cool aspect. Man, just
we had a cello player.
Cello, yeah. My cousin played the cello.
Same cousin as the fish.
Different cousin, not the fish cousin.
He's
Like
really
the opposite.
He's going all out.
Okay, sorry.
going
No,
all
I'm
out.
remembering. No, so Fish Rose cousin, actually, he had got married
I
a
hope he
year.
hears this podcast.
Yeah, he would laugh about it too. He would definitely would. So a year before that, he got married.
Yeah.
And then in his first year of marriage, he did what most people do. He put on some weight.
Yeah.
Well, he didn't think about it. And so the groomsmen wore like a kind of a casual button down, a vest, and just black slacks.
Yeah.
Well, he didn't try his vest on until he
At all.
got there. It
was
all
so
the
tight.
pictures, it is skin tight.
It's like
And so he's standing there
Stuck out.
just like stiff because he can't breathe.
But he owned it. I mean,
He just didn't
wore
care.
it.
Like
He didn't unbutton it or anything.
No, he loved it. I don't know. That's a great memory of it. I don't know. It honestly was a great day. It was a lot of fun. It was the middle of September. The day before it was 90 degrees. It was 70 degrees during our wedding. And the day after it was 90 degrees.
Somebody was praying for sure.
Yeah.
Somebody was praying for sure.
God shined down on our wedding for sure.
And y'all guys are the best. It's been a great time getting to talk to y'all about
We really
this.
enjoyed this.
Yes,
It's fun time. And so, man, they're the hosts of the Marriage Momentum podcast. Link in the show notes below. It'll be there. So check that out and support them. It's a great podcast. And so,
I'm waiting to find out about your neighbor too.
yeah, we'll keep you updated on that. So when I find out information, I'll let you know more. So, but you guys have been the best. Any last words from y'all?
No? I'm just glad that you don't drink Keurig coffee on a regular basis. So.
That's the main moral of this whole thing. Do not drink your coffee. So, but thank you guys.
No, we love y'all so much.